Zipper Pierce, and it's December the 21st, 2016. It is duly noted 14C. Now, I ended part B, 14B, short. It was a short clip. But I did it quickly because, as we know, with this deja vu, every time Flint, Michigan issue comes up, it's like a strong, it's more than a strong, it's a deja vu with me. Because I remember of the past. I remember my previous lives. And which also reminds me as to why a lot of people insist on believing reincarnation doesn't exist. And I can be understanding to that. Because why would you want to remember something that is horrifying? Why would you want to remember of a life that you had that was pathetic, incompetency, or horrible? So, using the element of that we see used in a relationship, monogamy. Monogamy was intended for your evolution. So you keep things of the past, you learn from it, but you don't do it in such a way where now, in the present a day, you don't live it. Okay, me as being a president of present, generals of generals, teachers of teachers, I don't have the liberties to put that forward. There's some things that I am not allowed to forget. In fact, I don't want to forget. As horrible as that may sound. It's like, so when I think about this time, because we didn't have the time was running out, and people of this world, despite all of my efforts to teach and for people to practice, it only took that one time. And the people that were trying to kill them, war against them, got a nasty chemical warfare in the water. And it affected tens of millions. It was almost 100 million people. So we did put together something that would stop the process. But as you know, in terms of timing, as when you go out to work, you can only put so much yield out according to how many people you have, how many supplies that you have. So that was really horrifying. That's why I cut off the second part, because and I had to step outside, because it just, things like that really horrify me, and it still is today. And then as to why, give reason. I can, from here to Sunday, for the next 1,000 years, as to why people insist that reincarnation does not exist. And I just gave you one of them. One of the top 5 reasons as to why people do not believe reincarnation does not exist. You know, if you look in terms of biblical, you know, the terminology that's being used, born again, you know, born again Christian. Born again, and what's another word of born again? Is reincarnation. It's in your very own words. So that could be interpreted many ways. You can say, no, born again is when you accept Jesus in your heart and you get that, and then you're born again. No, that's not the only way. Entitlement. You know, and I can nitpick all religions out there, but that's not my job. My job is not to nitpick, is to identify clarity, open up the line of communication, using that we're on the same page of evolution, of thinking, rationale, thoughts, human behavior, as to what went wrong and what can we put in place to make things better. What we can put in place that we can live 4 billion years into the future. That hasn't been done yet. People on this planet 6 heaven are being trained to be leaders. No one, no life out there has ever reached level 2 leadership. And that's where you're at right now. entitlement. How entitlement itself can be your destruction. Not being humble. So when I think of Flint, it's a trigger mechanism. And then I'm thinking about this and this and this and this. You know, being in a position, being a president where is now I have to do something that my military is designed to kill the enemy with. And I have to kill my own people for the sake of mercy. Because we can't inoculate them fast enough. And we put the element of mercy so they don't have to suffer. And this is some horrible shit. If you think, you know, not saying here, you know, cancer is bad, we hate to see it. That's like a mustard seed on a mustard seed. It's just a sample. And if you can't handle that, if you can't try to push yourself in terms of cancer to overcome your challenges, holy shit, you won't survive out there. And that's why certain things, you know, sometimes we bring the best of here from the seventh heaven or other samples of life out there, and sometimes we bring the worst. Okay? As we know with the numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They all have whole different values. But everyone knows that you have to use them all for it to be a superior, awesome system. And that's what humanity is here. We're identified by our bones. In terms of Adam and Eve, Eve was created by the bone. That was symbolism. We are identified by our bones. So, it just, you know, the two elements that the human, even I, deal with is our emotions and logic. And when I tell you that if you're leading with your emotions and told with your logic, is 1,000 times stronger to kill you than it is if it's the reverse. With your logic first and told with your emotions. That's why Star Trek was real popular, because the start of Spock and Captain Kirk, and then the engineer down there saying, "Jim, I'm giving her all she got." I mean, the whole premise behind that, and like I said in part A, is that you have to stay focused on what you need to do, and even if it's just compiling on you. Because if I was general, I'm the president, I'm coming to you and I say, what the fuck is going on? And he could say, I'm doing this and on this and 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 this. He's on the ball. She's on the ball. And you eliminate intent. If you could tell that much stuff going on, he's putting effort in other people. Because intent is hard to prove. I didn't deceive anyone. I didn't know. You know, being complacent is just as destructive as someone deliberately sabotaging that water. Because in the sense that you're being complacent, like I said, as Einstein, you know, I say about, you know, the good people and the bad people, is like, wouldn't you be heavily towards the people being bad? You say, no, not near as much as all those individuals walking past it and doing fucking nothing about it. I don't say things because I just like to hear myself talk. As like some people like to believe, Eric, you just talk because you like to hear yourself talk. Really? Well, how is it that I can tell that story, that quote, and I can create a volume of books that will make the encyclopedia seem like a freaking brochure on your doorstep? Because people won't implement the humbleness. Because energy, God will hand you your fucking ass and make you smell it, taste it, and everything else. And with no hard feelings. Because you're supposed to understand all the tools and how to use the tools. And you say, well, I don't know. I don't have a book. Yes, you do. When you have a certain tool, you know that by feedback. I call collective feedback, collective information. Okay? That's how you start establishing how the proper way of doing it. If you got the right equation. If you tweak it and then you find yourself further back, then don't tweak it anymore. That's about as good as it will get, unless you add a secondary type relationship, just like E equals MC squared. That is one of three parts. But E equals MC squared is as good as it's going to get without tweaking it or putting more symbolism to it. Then it takes you back and it distorts it. You know, like glasses. You know, I put them on is to bring clarity to what I'm seeing because my eyes are slightly out of focus. So yeah, I get real firm in this area and I'm president. Yeah. I don't want to have to relive that again. So in a way you could say that's selfish. If there's a right way of selfishness and there's a wrong way of selfishness, then I don't give a F. If you say, oh, that's being selfish. No, that's called self-preservation. It's called, I don't want to live my life as a president looking like an asshole, incompetent asshole, and then be forced to kill you because you're so in such a misery. I'd rather take the flack on that and say, whatever, you went up and killed the guy. Because this is the reason why he gets complacent, then you die. And I don't just
almost always tell us at least 3 or 4 people.
I don't just come up there with I think and I feel. If I shoot you in the head, it's because I got 1,000 reasons why, because of humanity and self-preservation, and why his behavior is putting your life in jeopardy. That's the president of presidents. And sometimes I have to piss you off to save you. So you have to use many facets of the human or emotions. Meaning, like, for example, you might be in a position with your brother where you have to piss him off to save his life. I mean, I'd rather piss him off and he never talks to me, depending on the situation, and I never see him for the rest of my life. And it turns out, because of that, he went and developed himself far greater than had it just still maintained a relationship with me. So, which gives to the quote, you have to be willing to give it away to keep it. Because in the event, reincarnation, and we meet up again, and chances are, it will, you'll have this deja vu, and boy, he said, boy, it just feels like you're my brother. And you say, yeah. There might be some, I am your brother, you know, in terms of family. So being a president of president, just being a president is a blessing and a curse at the same time. It is a blessing because I get a position that I can show you, not just tell you, but I can show you my skill sets. The curse of it is that I may have to piss you off. I may have to lie to you. I may have to tell you the truth. There's a lot of things that I may have to do for the betterment of everyone as a whole, not just for the United States, but for this world. And when you factor in reincarnation, another reason why reincarnation, they want to refuse that is because if it doesn't exist, okay, when you factor in reincarnation does exist, when you're killing someone, it makes it much easier of your conscience to kill someone. Because you know that, oh, reincarnation, he's going to come back. It'll take him 20 years to grow up and go through the development, but he'll be back. Okay? Well, when you take that out of there, it's almost infinite. I mean, it's a definite. Oh, you died. That's it. You tell me that God created you for only one time around, and what you know about evolution, how evolution and energy needs different cycles to gather and develop. So that's one of the reasons why people are led to believe reincarnation does not exist. Because it makes it easier for people to kill people. Okay, now being a general of general and a president of presidents, and being in that position where I have to kill my own people out of act of mercy because they're in suffrage and we can't put enough supplies to them. So we now have to act on mercy and we have to kill them. Because we have soldiers that come back and post-traumatic stress, and it's like, and that's a real thing. Not everyone has that mindset. You know, and it's like you think you come back and you find out how it's you're having horrible dreams and you're reliving it and you're reliving it. That's a reality thing. Here I am here in 2016. I'm talking about something that happened far longer back than 2016 years ago, and not even on this planet, and still haunts me today. So do I have post-traumatic stress? Absolutely. But you can either have it being your destruction, like the sword, my salvation, or my destruction. I'd rather have it be my salvation. And I'd rather have it is your salvation. I'd rather is that we are covered. It doesn't say we have to be perfect at it. But the 7-pound foot, all it takes is one time you being complacent and other people are watching you. Then they say, okay, that's the time to strike, like a thief in the night. It only takes one time. You could say the next 100 years, every single day of your life, you were just on the ball. And at one time, you're like, and then bang. It's like, you got to be shitting me. 100 years. And that one time that you relaxed, they snuck up on you, and now they killed you. Starting all over again. Yeah, it sucks. But see, when you train and develop yourself, you say, well, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. That's why you develop yourself, put it in your reflex mode, and you're doing it without realizing you're doing it. Just like that's how I condition myself. A lot of people can't read me because it's like everything bunched in together, and only I would understand by looking at my video what I'm trying to teach in my video in terms of evolution, in terms of timeline of man. So when I say something, yeah, you can count. You can bet your ass I can make a volume of books breaking it all down that would surpass the encyclopedia. Encyclopedia would look like a freaking pamphlet on your doorstep. Because a president, when you experience a lot of things, a lot of these things you just don't forget. I'm an Alpha Prime. I'm a Pi Man. I'm about when evolution gets on a plateau, I can help you get the motion going again. Teaching people. So things go forward. When you advance, God advances. As we learn in science, with light particles, and you say, well, wow, when this light moves, it moves in junction. And we're learning it now. If I was to go back, years ago, okay, and say back in Jesus' time, and we see telltale signs of it even with Asians, and they would laugh at us, after I explained this. They actually thought, because of the male, because that's what you can see, because of the sperm, is that those were tiny little eggs. And then she had to stay on her back to keep the eggs inside her so the eggs don't spill out. Because they didn't understand the whole process of it. They didn't know that sperm and the egg come together, join, become one, the third element, Trinity. So that's why, explain why men had more value, because it's like, oh, he's got the seeds. Meaning that all he has to do is just put his seed anywhere and it'll grow. Like we see with trees and apple trees. Just plant the seed and it'll grow. And that's why people of their evolution misunderstood things. Meaning you could get rid of the woman. He's got plenty of seeds that for self-preservation of man. So it helps you understand the mindset of people back then. And why the males, the ones with the penises, had the higher value. It was because of the way they interpret things. And as we know now, it's like she has the egg, he has the sperm, they come together and they form as one. That's how you get life. But if I was to explain that back to them, they don't know what a sperm is. We don't have it, magnifier to magnify it. So their evolution, their level, is the limitation that they have. So when I tell you I'm Einstein, I'm Abraham Lincoln, a lot of people, oh, the hell you are. Well, just that statement alone is limitation. You're not even wanting to consider the facts that is even a plausibility. It's more than a plausibility. But now you have you have examples to go by as to why someone would go be persistent at reincarnation does not exist. People don't want to be reminded of these horrible things in their evolution of being stupid and ignorant and foul and dangerous and all these things. That goes hand in hand with monogamy. They want, it's like they want monogamy in a relationship, and they definitely put monogamy in their life and their evolution. Why? For selfish reasons. They don't want to remind it how pathetic they were or how dangerous they were. Maybe their previous life, they killed thousands. Who wants to be reminded of that? I don't want to be reminded of 2016 years ago. I don't want to be reminded of what happened with this chemical warfare on another planet. But I hold this and I use it as my salvation, as my collective knowledge. So when I teach, you say, well, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Sit down. Bring a lunch. Because it's going to take a long time for me to explain. I don't say something without knowing it 50 million miles deep. It's my job. Because I want to use overkill when it comes to the salvation and self-preservation of the human race. We are considered superior. Collectively, just like the numbers. And we are superior. We're considered awesome because of that. And I'd rather have overkill to make damn sure we're going to get crossed that line, because I refuse to allow extinction to kick our ass. And say, you listen to me. I have a personality. Can you imagine if extinction took the flesh form? Now, if you're going to put a name to it, you would say devil. Don't you dare say Lucifer. Lucifer is a negative positive of an alpha prime. In terms of ranking, I'm higher ranking than Lucifer because of more skill sets that I have. It doesn't say Lucifer is less valuable. And between him and I, any life out there that wants to wage war against us, between me and Lucifer, we literally hand you your fucking ass. And injunction, if needed, only if needed, we have God, the highest form of evolution. But God is not going to step in unless certain criteria are established. And then God comes in and says, you don't fuck with us. So that essentially, since we're the Trinity, in that respect, it's a no contest. So we have to understand certain things. So if you're going to call something the devil, associate it to extinction. And that's why the devil we depicted as some horrible, But if you read about Lucifer, is some beautiful angel that contested God, and he fell from heaven. Fell, mean negative, positive. And look at over the past man's timeline of the misconception of things, or like in this presidential election, proclaiming Donald Trump as a bigot and everything else. Getting the facts wrong. They put Jesus up on a cross and say, Jesus died for man's sin. No, Jesus died because of your sins. Because you couldn't think outside the box. You couldn't rational reasoning. And you're angry. You acted on your emotions. And he's up on the thing saying, my God, this shit hurts. Why thou forsaken me? Why do you voting against me? I'm here. I'm your brother. I'm here to help you. That's a lot different than the Jesus going, my God. God didn't betray Jesus. But because of guilt, people changed that around. So people didn't look as pathetic. So, that's human behavior. We see it today in 2016, how people change and twist the things around. Yeah. So, I have many lifetimes. I don't care. I don't need your acceptance. Let me tell you, I don't care who you are, you're watching me. I do not need your acceptance. That is not required of reincarnation. Reincarnation is for the sole purpose of me of recognizing who I am, what I am, so I can pick up where I left off or where I'm supposed to be and keep continuing on with my evolution. Because trying to prove, going out to say, I am this, and trying to convince people, a lot of people will be disbelievers or disbelieve no matter what facts you put towards them. And that's why you have to have a government and justice system of people of sound mind, and they follow certain criteria. And if you didn't meet the criteria, then you're guilty. If you met the criteria, you're innocent. That brings order to chaos. So it doesn't say it was perfect. It was, and let me get this straight. You have something perfect. Something perfect can also destroy you. It's not intended to be perfect. The bottom line is functionality. Like my fingers. My hands may not be perfect. Got my finger cut off. But I can tell you, if I grab a hold of you with my hands and I use because I'm part of the 10% exception to the laws of energy, I will crush you. If I am in that position, I have to exert that kind of force. I mean, that's why we also have these quotes of, do not judge a book by its cover. I defy logic. I can fall, which I have, fall from a 2-story building this way, down on my head, split my head wide open. I had my fingers inside my skull. And what seemed like hours of being out. And I woke up within seconds. Basically what had happened while this had happened, I had to quickly repair my body. That's why I'm not paralyzed. That's why I'm not dead. I defy logic. I understand energy. I can be in a car accident, which happened, hit a telephone pole at 45 plus miles an hour, and I'm crushed in a Camaro. And the doctors look at it like these two guys are walking out of the emergency room. They should be dead. It's not making sense here. Okay, so, and people, so there's a start as to explaining why people hold the position that reincarnation does not exist. It does exist. And I could spend 1,000 lifetimes, book after book after volume after volume, and hitting it in so many different angles, you'll be like, no more. Yeah, because you want to be thorough. Because you want it on a level, because some people, they say, well, you just got Loki. I say, no. If I explain something, it's not because I just got lucky and I just had a whim, my cognitive powers is like, from the powers of Grayskull, I'm a brainiac today, but not tomorrow. No, I'm going to put this forward, it's going to make your head spin, it's going to make you seem so pathetic. You'll crawl underneath that rock and you'll never come out. And then it doesn't do me any good. Because now you're on a self-fulfilling prophecy of destroying yourself. That's what I'm trying to avoid. But on the same token, I still have to teach people. I can take a horse to a water, but I can't make you drink. I cannot be a thief of that last few minute steps that you take in enjoyment of what success and victory feels like. You have to partake in it. You have to feel, it's like the voters and the people in the rallies of this presidential race. When they get up there, they feel part of it. And that's another thing that's been Hillary's undoing. Trump, who is one of my generals, one of higher ranking generals, he read the crowd. He stayed consistent. In fact, not only is he staying consistent, he's trying to tell Hillary, he's trying to be fair about it. Stay consistent. Not flip that coin. Not flip that coin. Give me competition here. And what she does, she tried too hard. I'm going to win this election. And everyone behind her is doing the same thing, flipping that freaking coin. And then being poor sports about it. We teach our children to be good sports. And then when you get older and you don't conduct those same principles, and then our children look up at you and say, oh, you tell me to be a good sport, but you're not. And then you wonder why our generations, pardon the expression, but to our moms and dads, and they say, fuck you, call the police. You're not allowed to touch me. Because they don't freaking believe you. You wonder where that is coming from? Double standards? Do as I say, but not as I do? Wow, I wonder where that came from. You know, sometimes I have to piss you off. Sometimes you have to piss people off to get them motivated. But you know deep down when the dust settles, it's about a win-win situation for you and me. You have never been excluded out of this equation. Never. We just need people to pull their head out of their ass and let's get on with it, because I get tired of extinction laughing to the side and say, you guys are a bunch of fucking idiots, because I'm not an idiot. But I'm only as strong as you and you and you and you and everyone else, like the number system. And that's why I tried to train every single one of you guys. And then one day, we're going to look at extinction and say, fuck you. You just stay the fuck in that corner. Just like what I would say with Hitler, being he's in seventh heaven. But he does have skill sets. In seventh heaven, we just tell him to stay the fuck in the corner. And we don't devalue him. We still appreciate his skill sets. But we also know if we allow that son of a bitch to roam freely, he goes around tripping people. I call him the 7-pound foot. And he's fucking good at it. So that's why I bring these videos. You know, a lot of people think I'm a billionaire. No, the last several years, since 2013, I deliberately put myself in prison to study the human behavior of the criminal mind and the justice system itself. And here I am, barely on $600 a month to put a roof over my head and food in my belly. And people out there could care less about fucking showing their appreciation to me. Does that upset me? Hell yeah, it does. It's like people want. And it's always this one-sided shit. And here I am trying to teach you principles. If you enjoyed my video, you want to show your appreciation, your love of God, all you got to do is go to paypal.me/my name, Everett Pierce, EverettPierce. And if you're compelled, I'm giving you democracy. Now you have a choice to give back, not to be So yeah, there's a lot of frustrations in here. People just want to take. I mean, what if you just did that to your checking account? Take, and you never deposit. That's why Donald Trump is saying, you don't leave a company, you leave our United States because you're trying to save the almighty dollar. You know, you're either with Americans or you're not with Americans. And if you're fighting with the Congress, why are you fighting with Congress and you're going to try to prove a point to our Congress? So I'll get you, I'll move out of the state. You have to control your wealth. You can't just leave think of the United States as a checking account. If you keep withdrawing, you're going to be bankrupt. Well, hell, we're almost $20 trillion in debt. Wake up, people. My least wealth on the seventh heaven, because we're rated at our least of wealth, is 7 billion. And that's hard to even fathom. Here on this planet, I make $600 a month. And that puts a roof over my head and food in my belly. Because I have to stand all levels and facets of economics, people, human behaviors, warfare. Yeah. But I keep putting my best foot forward tomorrow. Tomorrow, I may be on that fucking street eating my dinner out of a trash can, but I'm willing to do that. Because I'll have no fucking choice. So, yeah, I get a little firm. But if nothing else, you're going to know without a fucking doubt. I'm on your fucking side. I'm on we's side. If I'm going to be fucking selfish, it's because I want for us to on a win-win situation. If I'm on being a selfish situation, it's because I don't want to have to explain to a 2-year-old why he had to take a bath in water that looks like fucking human shit. Yeah, that's the proper way of being selfish. But I'm going to do it because of humanity. Because I'm going to do it because I wouldn't want to take a shower in that water or take a bath in that water. I wouldn't want to drink it, let alone swim in it. So yeah, I do get upset. And that's why I try to contain myself and I have different parts because, man, I mean, it's just like, we'll end it right there. But I think I've pretty much made my point. is, yeah, that was like a Pandora's, that was the last straw that broke the, and you got other companies out there, they're going to oblige you. You bend over, they're going to stick that broomstick up your ass. And they're going to be proud of it. So let's try to avoid that. I'm taking my effort, my time to understand you. Why is it that hard for you to understand me? So we'll end it right there. So